how much of your money needs to be in things that are going to grow and outpace inflation, and how much of your money should be what some people like to call safe in short-term assets so that at any point, if you need them, you don't have to go sell your investments at a loss and then have to go, well, was that worth it? Why didn't I just work one more year or two more years? I know my spouse was telling me I should retire, but I should have kept working. What you don't want to do is get that analysis paralysis. And so often there's confusion around asset allocation. And even that word safe, what does safe really mean? Because some people think safe is having enough money on hand at all times. But what you're doing is you're permanently actually taking that purchasing power, what those dollars could actually do for you, and you're eroding that over time if inflation is growing faster than your money. So, what we're going to do today in our new series, Root Drops, is hear from one of our amazing advisors at Root Financial. Yes, one of our advisors to get some insight here. And I'm not just taking this question out of thin air. Some of you are thinking, so you just make this stuff up, Ari? Is this just what lights you up? No, I mean, yes, but no, this is actually a question from all of you in our Root Collective. So, as a reminder, this is our free community. You can join this in the description below. It's one thing to hear from myself or my partner, James, or any of my advisors about what it means to actually talk about retirement planning, but it is different when all of you communicate with each other who are going, I'm in a similar stage of life. I was wondering about healthcare or Roth conversions or estate planning or whatever it is that's lighting you up at that moment. So I encourage you, certainly go check out the community. Now, let's get to today's video. So if you all look at my screen here, you're going to see someone named Arizona Buckeye left the following comment. They said, in a recent video, Ari used the analogy of your portfolio dollars being money that is either walking, so walking dollars like cash or bonds or treasury bills or munis, running or jogging. And so they open up this to the community to say, okay, how do we think about this? So I come up with all these analogies that hopefully resonate. And one of those is the walking, jogging, and running. There's dollars in retirement that you want to walk, that at any time you can go, hey, can you turn around? I want to use you. Then there's dollars that are jogging. You want them outpacing inflation, but you might not need them for a few years. You want them to grow, but you don't want them maybe growing like your Roth IRA, which you might want sprinting because you might not touch that for a very long time. But let's get some more insights from one of our amazing advisors here at Root, Kerri Allen. Kerri, any thoughts here?
Yeah, hi Ari. Typically, when I'm structuring a proper allocation for someone's retirement, there's several things that I take into consideration. And, one of those things is just how much time do you have? So, to give an example, I recently had a client who decided to retire in their early 60s. Now, some people wait a little bit longer. And of course, as you pointed out, waiting even just a year or 2 years can significantly increase your probability of success in terms of making sure you have enough assets to not outlive your retirement, which is a big deal. But so in this particular example with this client who is retiring in their early 60s, one of the things we look at is we say, all right, what's your spending level? And depending on what that is, or how high or how low that is relative to the portfolio size, we kind of need to back into a, safe portion of the portfolio, or kind of that portion that's in reserves that's insulated from that market volatility. And that's important because as you pointed out, there can be bear markets, there can be downturns. And so we've found that the average length of time that a bear market can last is about 2.5 years. So 2.5 years, and a bear market, of course, is defined as being down at least 20% or more. So having a 5-year buffer of stable assets is a really great way to ensure that, as you're pulling money out for spending needs, you're not putting the rest of your portfolio at risk. One of the things that can come up when someone retires so early, of course, is, you've got a really long time horizon if we're planning through age 100. So that could be, 30, 40 years that your portfolio still has to keep growing. So with the portion of the portfolio that we're targeting as the growth portion, that's going to be something that's in stocks, that's going to be in, equities, that is going to outpace inflation, hopefully. And that's a really critical piece to making sure that you don't outlive your assets. I'll work with a lot of clients in the kind of $3 to $5 million range. And, for them, it's really about working within their financial plan to figure out how much do we need to have in root reserves versus the growth engine of the portfolio, which is going to be more equity heavy.
Guys, I hope you really just heard that, especially on probability of success. It's really easy to do that goalpost planning. Oh, yeah, one more year, 2 more years, then I'm going to retire. It makes the plan look better. You get to show your neighbor, you feel really cool. But then you start to go, okay, do I need to do that? And when you have saved and invested well, a lot of clients that are working with Kerri, they are interested in more of the tax planning. They're interested in charitable giving. They want to really make the most of what they've worked so hard for. And when you have a mindset of, I need to have X% in fixed income at all times, what can happen is sometimes you could be overly conservative, where really you have so much in what we'll often define as reserves that what happens is your money's certainly growing, but it could be growing a lot more. And you could still be in a perfectly fine spot to accomplish all your goals. What we don't want to do is have so much in aggressive money that it makes sense on paper, but you're losing sleep. That defeats the whole purpose of a good plan. So we like to say the sign of a good financial plan is a life well lived. Now, if you resonated with today's episode of Root Drops, you might be watching this with an upcoming meeting with Kerri. You might be watching this going, wow, this was really interesting. I saw this on the Root YouTube channel. For some reason, it's just the way Kerri explains things, it resonates. I don't feel like I'm being spoken down to. I think my spouse would really like her. I'm interested in working with Kerri. If that's how you feel, you can go to the description of this video and it's right above the comment section. That took me longer to find than I'd like to admit the first time I was on YouTube, but it's right in that description section and there's a link. And you can go to that link, learn more about Kerri, and see if she's someone that you would want to speak to and potentially work with throughout your retirement. That's it for this episode of Root Drops. I just have one favor. I lied. There's really three parts to this, but it is one favor. We make all this content for free for you guys on YouTube. So if you enjoyed this video, please like this. Number two, if there was something you learned, wow, I didn't consider root reserves. And I didn't even know the average downturn was 2.5 years, but that it would make me feel better if I had 5 years of income. It resonates with me. Let us know in the comments. This is a community. We love reading these comments. And then number three, yes, it is fun when you retire. And it's really fun when you're driving in traffic, and you guys are going to resonate with me on this one. When you're driving in traffic this way and there's no traffic at all, but there's tons of traffic the other way. Why does that feel good? I don't know. It even feels gross kind of saying it. But when you're driving, you're like, why did I just like pick the perfect time? So why am I telling you this dopey story? Well, because the reality is a lot of you have saved and invested well, and you're going to retire and you're going to be in a wonderful spot and you're going to love it. In the first 6 months, the first year, you're going to be like, this is the greatest. I'm traveling. I don't have to work, no commuting. And then you're going to go, I want to retire with friends and family. I want to be doing this with other people. So my only ask is you share this with someone you want to retire with so that, yes, you can have fun in traffic, but maybe you two are the only cars on the road in hopefully no traffic or minimal traffic. And everyone else is still saving and investing, but you're living your dream retirement. So that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys next time.